so what's the time? And I looked at my watch and I said, sir, it's about 10:30 and we're about to take our first shot. He said, no, what's the time of the scene? You know, when I'm supposed to be acting, what time is it? So I got freaked out. I said, I'll go and ask Adi. And Adi said, like, say anything. What do you mean what the time of the scene is? It's early morning. So I went and said, sir, it's 7:30, 7:45. He said, nahi, batao, 7:30 hai ya 7:45 hai? So I said, sir, I think it's 7:45 because it's a puja in the morning. You know, this is the first scene, his introduction. Then he said, kitni thand hogi yahan? How cold is it? So I said, meaning? He said, abhi is time, is scene jab ho raha hai, to waqt mein kya tha, how cold is it? Kyunki us tarah I will drape my shawl accordingly. Agar bahut thand hogi, then I will drape it like this, and if it's not so cold, I will just leave it like this. So I said, oh God, where am I stuck?
मैंने तुझे कहा था ना रात को उठाने के लिए? हाँ. उठाया? नहीं. Shit.
I felt really grand facing the camera, you know, even though I was an assistant, and I always feel that at least I'm part of the historical film, even visually. There was a boy who was meant to do the role who didn't come to Switzerland because he had some passport issue and something had gone wrong, and we had to shoot the next day. And I remember walking into a room. I got the news that that guy is not turning. I can't remember what his name is now. And I walked in, there was Shah Rukh and Adi and Arjun Sablok, who's also director, sitting there. And he was zeroed in for one of the roles. And they said, look, we have a problem, but we thank God we have a backup actor. And like, really, who? And in my mind I'm thinking maybe Uday, who's also an assistant on the film, will do it, you know. And they said, you. And I'm like, no, my first thought was like, my mother will fire me for being a sidey in a movie. So Adi looked at me and said, you have some aspirations of being an actor?
अरे बड़ा ना, अरे बढ़ तो गया, देख तो सही, देखना कुछ नहीं है. अरे राज कहाँ रह गया था तू? अरे वहीं जा, हमेशा रह जाता हूँ.
And everyone used to laugh at us because we were a small crew. It's not like film units go today, you know, like there are so many departments. That time we were just 20 of us in a bus trying to make this film. It was Kajal who was completely mad and had no idea what she was doing. And so then between me and her mother, Tanu auntie, and I've done her hair, I've done some parts of her makeup, I've blow dried her hair, and I've done the strangest things on that film because she was completely useless in that respect. She just didn't know what to do. This so-called chemistry that everyone goes on and on about Shah Rukh and Kajal, I think all began with Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. They look so tremendously in love with each other, and everyone's a sucker for a great love story.
मुझे तुमसे प्यार हो गया है. I love you, Simran.
Tujhe Dekha, which I think is an immortal love melody now, I think, is actually Aditya's tune. And I remember his words used to be, Tujhe Dekha to ye jana sanam, pyar hota hai deewana sanam, dil mein ab to hai chhai agan, lag ja gale o sajan, were his dummy words. It's strange because I've known Adi all my life and I've heard this song. So finally to hear it recorded, have Lataji sing it, and then have seen it picturized, was like an entire journey for Adi's musical, like lesser known fact, he's an amazing musician himself. I think the fact that we could get away with a certain kind of naturalness in dialogue without melodramatizing a situation, with just where dialogues could be conversational, I think I borrowed that definitely.
Listen to me.
There was no like stopping, turning, you know, looking like we had enough. Like, of course, there was all the drama and the trolley was moving and the camera was going all over the place to establish drama, but still there was a certain subtlety that was a first. If you see any film before '95 in that genre, there was definitely not the kind of subtlety that Dilwale had.
I'm sorry, Simran, I'm sorry. मैं वादा करता हूँ, मैं ऐसा मजाक फिर नहीं करूँगा.
Even the overseas audience that was lying relatively dormant till then just woke up and said, okay, this is sounding a little more believable. This is looking a little more plausible. And I think it started this whole big revolution all around India with this one film. And I think there's a reason why it's still in the theatres, because in a way, it's timeless.
डोली सजा के रखना, मेहंदी लगा के रखना, डोली सजा के रखना, लेने तुझे ओ गोरी आएंगे.
I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it was going to be really special. A year before that, there was a revolutionary Hum Aapke Kaun that brought back families into halls, and it completely changed the tide of box office in India. And I knew when Dilwale would come, it would not only bring in the families, but the youngsters, and I knew it was a film that would change moralities around and change the way we look at cinema. Dilwale was like the mothership, you know, and everything that came, any offshoot from that ship, I think has reaped the benefit of Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. It's like it happened with Sholay. Like I believe Sholay in 75 is like a mother mainstream film. It's a flawless screenplay.
हमें यहाँ से भागना ही होगा राज, हमें यहाँ से भागना ही होगा।
नहीं सिमरन, मैं तुम्हें यहाँ से भगाकर या चुरा कर ले जाने नहीं आया हूँ। भले ही मेरी पैदाइश इंग्लैंड में हुई हो, पर हूँ मैं हिंदुस्तानी।
It's just something that just happened. In this case, everything just fell into place. Everything was just pitch perfect. I just think it's a flawless, timeless film.
Well, that's all we've got for you today on this special show with 4 of contemporary Hindi cinema's brightest directors. Remember, these are the men and women that make our movies worth watching. Here's to the next glorious 60 years of cinema. Goodbye and good luck at the movies. By its very definition, the word hero refers to a man of distinguished courage or ability. Admired for his brave deeds and noble qualities. The Hindi film hero fits that description perfectly. Hello and welcome to the special show Splendid 60, the changing face of the Hindi film hero. In these 6 decades since independence, Hindi cinema's leading men have made us smile and cry. They've fought the bad guys, they've romanced the heroines, they've given up their lives for the nation. Some actors did it better than the others. Some actors brought something special to these roles. Some actors immortalized the characters that they played on screen. On this show today, I'll pick those Hindi film heroes that I believe stood for changing times and changing tastes. Like many, I've always believed Raj Kapoor was a far better filmmaker than he was an actor. But that's not to say he hasn't entertained us with his performances. Of all the roles he played, it was that Chaplinesque wanderer of Avara and Shri 420 that is my favorite. Can you think of anyone else who could slip into those ridiculous ankle-length trousers and that patched overcoat and still come off so lovable? Raju, the simpleton of Shri 420 and Avara. The character by which Raj Kapoor lives on. Bombay 420. Chal beta Japani. Just as Raju was caught alternately between the heroine Vidya and the vamp Maya in Shri 420, India too was torn between the Nehruvian socialism and Western capitalism in the 50s.
जरा सोचो, हम जैसे लोग पैसे के बगैर कर ही कैसे? इस दुनिया में तो सांस लेने के लिए भी पैसा चाहिए.
Once a clapper boy on the sets of Dilip Kumar's debut film Jwar Bhata, Raj Kapoor managed to grab attention especially for the chemistry he shared with Nargis. Influenced by the Indian People's Theatre Association, Kapoor's films reflected a concern for social justice and humanism.
A great disciplinarian as far as what he wanted. What he wanted, he always got.
After making his mark as an actor in the 40s, Raj Kapoor went on to become one of the youngest directors of his era. In fact, he established RK Studios a year later and took on the responsibilities of producing, directing and acting in his projects.
Raj Kapoor is a great filmmaker, a greater filmmaker than a great actor. And when you say why, it's probably because it was a rare combination of both, where he held his own. He's a very good-looking guy, blue-eyed actor. In those days, to have blue eyes and fair skin and black and white, films used to make. And then a very inspired film man.
Over the decades, Raj Kapoor the actor and Raj Kapoor the filmmaker have merged in public memory. His most ambitious film, Mera Naam Joker, which was under production for over 6 years, released in 1970 to empty theatres. He continued to produce, direct and act in films till his health gave in, simply because, as they put it, the show must go on. Unanimously hailed as one of Hindi cinema's finest actors, Dilip Kumar earned the title of Tragedy King after immortalizing the character of the luckless lover in such films as Babul, Andaz, Didar and of course my personal favourite Devdas, which is rightfully considered the best on-screen portrayal of Sarat Chandra Chatterjee's despondent hero. Few are aware that by the time Dilip Kumar showed up on set to play Devdas, he was already seeking psychiatric counselling, the effects of repeatedly playing a tragedian having taken its toll on his physical and mental health.
कौन कमबख्त है जो बर्दाश्त करने के लिए पीता है? मैं तो पीता हूँ कि बस सांस ले सकूं.
He was advised to dabble in comedy to steer away from pain and pathos. Films like Naya Daur, Madhumati, Ganga Jamuna and Ram aur Sham established him as one of the most talented and intense actors Hindi cinema had seen. But it's the defiant Shehzada Salim in K. Asif's epic Mughal-e-Azam that remains etched in collective memory as one of his most remarkable portrayals. It's time now for a short break. When we come back, find out why Devanand is one of Hindi cinema's most enduring icons. Having willingly modelled himself after then-girlfriend Suraiya's favourite Hollywood idol Gregory Peck, Devanand brought flair and style to the image of the Hindi film hero. Nicknamed Debonair Dev, he epitomised the polished, suave, city-bred gentleman. Devanand was among the first few Hindi film heroes, first few leading men who didn't shy away from taking grey characters. Look at his roles in films like Jal, Rahi, Dushman, Bombay Ka Babu. Few others dared to go where he did. But like so many fans, my favourite Devanand performance is Guide, a character he played instinctively, a character he humanized, a character he made endearing despite the fact that Raju Guide was hardly your clean-cut, good-as-gold hero.
वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ बल ले ले घर दे ये चिल्ला पाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है तेरा मुसाफिर जाएगा कहाँ वहाँ कौन है
It was with this film in 1966 that Devanand silenced his critics who accused him of being more style than substance in his earlier films like Ziddi and Bazi.
It was a bold film. It was a very bold subject because here is a man who is a guide who falls in love with somebody's wife and he seduces her. So this is taboo for the Indian audiences. That's why we changed the Hindi version to justify that angle, which we did.
मार तो भी तो सबसे दुखी है, लेकिन वो दीवारों से जाके अपना सर नहीं टकराता, वो कैसे गुफा में जाकर पत्थर की बुतों से जी बहला लेता है। मैं जिसलिए कि वो आदमी है और तुम अपने को तड़पाती रहती हो इसलिए कि तुम औरत हो। गलत है रोजी, गलत है।
Of the famous trio of the 50s, Raj, Dilip, Dev, it was Devanand who broke new ground and repeatedly played grey roles. He played a black marketeer in Kala Bazaar, a gang member in Dushman, and a murderer in Bombay Ka Babu. But his image of the charming lover boy remained with films like Tere Ghar Ke Samne. It was in fact Devanand who gave the Indian audiences their very own James Bond when he masterfully uncovered a thrilling heist and also shook a leg with a cabaret cutie.
It was James Bondish, it was suspense, and people quoted it as a Bible of a suspense film in the